Good afternoon. At the BSAI Summit, we are going to have an open dialogue with three genius minds from different boarding schools from around the country. Let's say a hello to them. Welcome, Maanvi. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much, Deepal, and that's Khyati.
Yes, sir.
Please have a seat. Well, this is something very interesting to see these wonderful three children, I would say students, mavericks, geniuses, explorers, who have the audacity to come on an open forum and talk. We are very happy to welcome them at Chitkara University, especially at the BSAI Summit, which is ongoing here. Quite an excitement and engagement environment we've created here. Let me have the introductions first of all of you, and then I come to the subject we talk. Maybe start your introduction. Where are you from? What's your name? And what challenge did you pick up at BSAI Summit?
My name is Maanvi Mehra. I'm from Sunbeam School, Chitkara, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh.
Varanasi.
Yeah, Varanasi.
Perfect.
So the challenge I opted for this competition is the debating championship. So that's it.
So you seem to be a very voracious orator, right?
I would like to say so.
Wonderful. Yes, please.
Well, greetings. I'm Deepal. I'm from Chitkara International School, Chandigarh, Sector 25, and I was again also here for the debate challenge.
So you were in the debate challenge.
Yes, I was.
Did you guys met for the first time?
Yes, we did.
And you are friends now?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
The smiles tell me. Yes,
I'm
please.
Khyati Kavia. I'm from Rajmata Krishna Kumari Girls Public School, Jodhpur, Rajasthan. I chose Impact Challenge.
So we have Varanasi, we have Chandigarh, and we have Jodhpur,
Yes.
right? The land of the Maharajas.
Yes.
Wonderful. We'll stray around how, you know, the UN SDG goals have contributed to India's growth story. Globally too, but we'll talk about our country. And let's start from Maanvi then. Maanvi, what do you think on this subject?
I feel like all the 17 SDGs are well picked, as all of them have a specific domain. But if I had to pick a SDG I really want people to focus upon is universal healthcare.
Good health and well-being.
I do believe the very first two are important, but I recently had a debate in Oxford, and at the for the conclusion we found out that when you're talking about health or no hunger or no poverty, the very first thing we need to understand is the universal healthcare system, and that's something an SDG I would really like to talk more about.
So that's a very interesting point, universal health system, global health system. Now, what do you think is disrupting there? What's happening there? What are the changes, if in a nutshell you can explain?
Alright, there are many changes. Again, there is a different distribution of resources around the world, but I feel like media has a huge role to play in it.
And you think it's not playing?
No, I feel like people should be a advocate for good health and well-being, but seeing that there are so many processed foods around us, and not just about that, normal scientific things such as normal healthcare is also now a matter of opinion rather than a factual thing. So that's something I feel like the media should point towards.
That's quite a powerful statement. It means a lot. It's got a deeper meaning. Very interesting. So you feel that certain nations are putting an effort around the way you are expecting, but certain places things are not happening the way it should be. Great. What are your thoughts?
Whenever I think about the sustainable development goals, and like if I try connecting it to India, I just think about the time the world was shifting from a primary to a tertiary economy. Like how the globalization works is that there are three stages: primary, secondary and tertiary.
Correct.
And what India did was it directly jumped from primary to tertiary. Why? Due to the globalization. Now when this change occurred, a lot of things happened, such as recessions happened. We did not have any means for healthcare, as ma'am stated. So we were lacking a lot, and now when UN introduced these SDGs, what happened was we found a means, we actually found a goal to accomplish. So it just served as a mean to fill that gap, to bridge the gap that we had. And if I do really talk about the goal that I like a lot is like of no poverty, the most important one. In, let's say, 2009, when the European Union was suffering through recession, India was suffering through recession as well.
True, yeah.
Yes. So this led to a very huge recession like a cycle in a chain in the whole world.
Right.
So everyone was suffering economically. And now when UN introduced the goal of no poverty, it led to resource allocation and subsidization in India. That now the government knows how to allocate the resource correctly, which
Yeah.
fulfills the goal.
I think
So
that's correct, because
yes.
deployment of resources, especially finances, is very critical.
Yes.
You can get the funds, you can get the money, but deployment. But please complete. Yeah.
Yes, so what that led us to, that the government did not have a goal. It knew that it needs to allocate the resources. It knew that it needs to subsidize the
So you
resources.
said miss the bus.
Yes, it missed the bus.
Have they caught up on that?
I believe so. Yes, we've really caught up on that. We're just growing on the employment terms right now. The employment is being generated right now. We're having a lot of new sectors.
But
for
different kind of
employment.
employment, right?
Yes, different kinds of employment. So we just do not have quantity, but we have quality as well. That we know what the world is looking for, and at the same time, we are not letting anyone miss out on something. That is due to such opportunities that we are having right now. For example, the current BSAI summit, we are actually looking for telling people, for making people aware about the things that are going on,
Correct.
which actually serves for the goal of no poverty.
No, this is a great initiative with a good intent. What about you?
I think the SDG goal I'm most inclined to is SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities.
Yeah,
It's
the
a-
infrastructure.
Yeah, it's a very broad goal, so it has many sustainable development goals that come under it. Whether it's homelessness or it's waste, it all comes under sustainable cities and communities. It's a broad goal and India definitely needs it. Chandigarh was one of the first planned cities. Yeah, definitely. They talked about sustainability there as well. Sustainability is very necessary, especially for a country like India that's so diverse and has so many people in it.
Yeah, we are dealing with the world's second largest population.
Yes, definitely, sir. There are so many. We've all heard the term.
Do you see the
sustainability.
growing population as an opportunity or a burden?
Both, sir. Really depends, because if education is not that accessible, then nobody knows about sustainability.
Right.
Although we've all heard about the term sustainability, I'm pretty sure none of us think we have sustainability, because we don't yet. So India really needs to focus on SDG 11, because it does have almost every other SDG comes
So you
under
mean
sustainability.
housing for everybody?
Yes,
Whether it's
definitely.
affordable or whatever?
Yeah. Smart cities primarily focus on that. We need affordable housing, and definitely smart cities, they are whenever disasters happen, smart cities can definitely combat that. So, their infrastructure is built in such a way. So our team had thought about something like that. It was the national disaster. We made a whole policy about it, about how we will be building infrastructure from now on that can survive any natural calamity.
You mean like an earthquake?
Yeah, like an earthquake. And all infrastructure
Floods
will
and
be
all.
regularly checked to make sure that this does happen. And India definitely needs that with its large population.
Though they also say that science fails in front of nature.
Definitely it does. It does.
But the human efforts should not stop.
Yeah, because we need to figure this out, because how many times, like probably right now there's an earthquake somewhere and somebody is dying. So we need to fix this issue, and sustainable development in these cities, this goal, it is not just that. There's so much that comes into it. It's a very broad goal.
No, it is quite a broad canvas around that. So when you mentioned poverty, what came in my mind was that it's just you could say a statement. If children, you can comment upon it, right? If children in poverty could express how they think, what they imagine, what they could manifest, what a different world it could be.
So seeing from their perspective a world of how it is to have minimum opportunities, I won't say no opportunities, but minimum opportunities would honestly open, I feel like, again, big discussions, and people will have a new perspective to look for the world from, and new perspectives are always appreciated. So.
Right. That's quite powerful.
I'd like to partially agree with the statement that it might lead for a new perspective, but it won't bring something that is very new to the table.
Right.
Now, why? For the very same. That is, very firstly, it will show that how some very minimal things that we see right now, let's say I have a chance here to speak right now, it might seem like not of a very big deal for me, but if I look of the same perspective as a child, it might seem like they won the whole world, like on a very large scale. So yes, for me it's not anything new, but at the very same time it is the biggest thing that is the biggest thing for them. Yes, it does open the world for a new perspective, but again, that thing, it will just make us realize how important our resources are, and would rather lead to better subsidization of resources. It will actually work for the government, that the government will now actually prioritize what they have rather than looking for something new. That is, I believe,
Correct.
how that will work.
So, discipline, structure,
Yes.
timelines, and then measuring the goals, measuring the development is very critical.
Yes.
Right. What about you?
I completely agree with
You agree
both
with
them.
both of them?
Yeah. So poverty, definitely, the children, you look at them, they have no food access, their water is not sanitary, they have so many problems that they face. So education is definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
And if you see from their perspective, since whenever we talk about goals or anything, we never really think about it through their perspective, because anything small for us is a big thing for them. So our goals definitely differ. So I won't say that their
That's a personal choice.
Yeah. So definitely we need to take in account of their goals as well, but yeah, their goals must be to be on equal level with us. That's all. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Now, if you were given an opportunity to make a change, it's a very broad question, but you could give a specific answer. What one change would you like to do if you had all the powers to do so in the society for a better society?
I would definitely amend, or I would say add changes to the education system, because I feel like education is the most powerful tool in this world. If you're educated, if you have the knowledge of what your rights are, what your environment is all about, what is happening in the world, that changes you.
Yeah.
So something I feel like education system.
So that's where you would like to work and bring some change.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think, Maanvi, empathy leads to innovation? When you feel the pain of somebody?
Definitely. There's this film, I don't know what the exact project is, but basically it's talking about the innovations made by teenagers like us. And there was this one specific innovation which was basically a stick for elderly people, since somebody noticed that their grandparents had trouble walking up and down, especially in the dark. So they empathize with them.
And they build this product.
Exactly, they build this product that lets them walk in the dark with
Excellent.
help
I
of the
would
stick
like
and
to
light.
explore. What about you? All powers, one change.
Okay, if we do talk about changes, is that what we're talking, when we talk like of the first SDG goal, it's about no poverty. Who does it include? The vulnerable groups. And when we talk about vulnerable groups, especially in India, all we think of are women and children, or some special tribes, or special castes. We never really think about the vulnerable people who do not have enough resources.
Right.
When we talk about vulnerability, we look at the social status. We never look at the resource. And that is something I need to change. I would actually work for the prevention, for the safety of especially poor people out there, that they are vulnerable to anything. That is, if anything happens to them, there's no one to take accountability for
So
them.
their safety.
Yes, accountability, basically an accountability mechanism.
Accountability and the sense of freedom to live like in a very equal environment.
Yes.
Right.
For example, like we are talking right now, we are referring to them as they are like that. They are like that. Like if they do something like this, this is their goal. The issue is why we're referring to them as there. Why are we not bringing the sense of equality? Now this just has like one loophole, that equality is only amongst the equals. The issue which I would like to solve is to make people equal, so that we can run
Respect.
on the system of equality.
Respect.
Yes.
Now that we see a lot in the West, it is also coming to our country. It is there also in certain parts. But at the end of the day, it is the mindset, you know, and that could only come with good education, as Maanvi mentioned. So Deepal, that's quite very deep and very firm from your side. What change would you like to bring?
I would definitely agree with Deepal right here, and I would go for equality. Definitely, we don't think of poor people as equals, and as soon as that happens, change can come. When a beggar comes banging on your window,
Yeah.
somebody should open it. You don't need to give them money, you don't need to shoo them away. All you need to give them is some food, maybe some
Right.
food. You have a water bottle, give them that. They would appreciate it. We need to think of them as equals. As soon as equality comes, education comes as well.
Right.
As soon as they understand that, you know, we are not different from these people who are driving cars, we can also drive cars someday. Let me get some education. It's free. It's free. You get education by the government. It's free. Let me try to get some education. I can also drive a car like that. So we need to change the mindset of people that they have.
Mindset. So, well, do you think as we sit today and the world is in action all over, do you think we are living in exciting times in India?
I believe we do.
Are they turbulent or are they exciting?
both. Again, it's a paradoxical situation, because if you think about the innovation specifically in the field of science or technology, India is again at a boom. But when we are talking about social perspective, or when we are talking about our community as a whole, or sustainability, I feel like we are still developing and we should really work on that. So
That's point. That's a point. Yeah.
I believe that yes, like there are two different sides of a thing, on paper and off paper. On paper it might look like yes, our economy is improving daily, yes, the social status is being provided, yes, prevention is there, safety is there, but is it really there? India is working very well on the on paper perspective, but in reality, in practicality, I believe we're lacking behind. It's not really about how the other nations are doing, it's about how we're doing. We often end up with comparisons with other nations, how US is working, how UK is working, how China is working, but we never really bring the perspective how we are really doing in reality. How are the poor people? How
And
are the
I
women?
believe that it's all about awareness. You know, we
Yeah.
can't build assumptions and illusions and come to conclusions on that.
Yes.
You know, we got to be a little more aware. Maybe we are lacking in awareness what's happening in the or at ISRO. You know, we might say it's not great as SpaceX or NASA, but when we explore, we see that oh wow, we are a little way ahead, right? We are a little way ahead. What about you?
You see, if the people of India are not safe, whatever India does, it really does not matter. Whatever changes they make, it does not matter as long as your people are not safe. The Pahalgam incident, I don't know how to pronounce. Yeah, that happened so recently. What are we doing for it? You see how many people, the case about the rape cases are so many, there are so many murder cases, so the crime rates in India are very high. So, you see, I would say it's turbulent, because if the people are not safe, then there's no point of any
So you
changes.
mean like safety is paramount, it's very
Yes.
prime,
Yes.
which is fine, and as you said, freedom for everybody. You said equality, and I totally agree on that. Now let me come back with due regards to your statement. Well, let me come back to this, just picking your mind. What do you think is the definition of power for you?
I feel like for me, the definition of power is the ability, opportunity, or let's just say, to be able to make change,
Perfect.
to be able to put change in motion, to act.
And power would come from?
Your self-regard, honestly. Power comes not from what people think you have, not what people say that, oh, this person is very powerful.
So do you think you got to be in the authority, hold a high position in the government, be a politician, or have a lot of money in your pocket, or just walk out of your room and start crusading for human causes?
I'll use her terminology and say that on paper, people do define that as power, to be, you know, on the top of the world, to be on the top of the hierarchy and the food chain. But I would say power really comes from somebody who is able to act on their own life, and not somebody who lets their life be controlled by others' perspectives.
Execution. It's the mental strength.
Yeah.
Yourself, Deepal?
Totally agreeing with the statement. Power for me, the first thing that pops into my mind is autonomy. Now autonomy can be of again two types. First is legal autonomy, something that is provided to you. Second is self-autonomy. And for me, power is something that comes from within. You do not need a constitution, you do not need federalism to give you the power. All you need is an idea if you are having an act. And for me, how is power given to you? If you are able to accomplish what you really wanted to do since the start. If you're, let's say, able to provide children with the money, you do already have every power in the world for solving anything.
That's very well said. You just completed what you could have missed out. But I think while you were saying this, I was remembering Swami Vivekananda's quote that he said, have one idea, breathe upon it, contemplate on it, you know, eat, drink and sleep that idea, accomplish it, finish it, then move to the next idea. It's about execution. What do you think?
I think that power definitely is the ability to make change,
Yeah,
but also to stand by your change,
Yeah.
to not be shaken by the circumstances. If somebody was to come up to you and give you money, would you be corrupt and take the money and take back on your statement?
No, that's great.
Or would you fight against it? That's power. I have heard of the quote that the chair does not give you power, you give the chair power. That's definitely fully true. I think power is just being able to work against odds for what you think is right.
Absolutely. I think that kind of wittiness, righteousness, uprightness, that's awesome. While, you know, I was just remembering this movie, maybe you've seen Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Liam Neeson, he mentions the definition of power at the end. Just watch that movie if you've not. I'll leave you with that curiosity. What a beautiful movie by Steven Spielberg. How has been your experience coming at Chitkara University?
Personally, for me, something I noticed the very first minute I entered was the sustainable initiatives taken by Chitkara.
Oh, you noticed that?
I noticed it's quite. It would be odd for
Quite
someone
visible.
to not notice. Okay, because
No, actually, we are working on that. It's around the clock job. Yeah.
Quite evident.
it's everywhere. I have visited campuses as big as Chitkara before, but the initiatives taken by Chitkara are honestly surprising. Especially
So not on paper, huh?
Yes, not on paper, it's on paper as well.
Specifically, something that again made me think was if we are staying at hostels right now, so something that I noticed is that you have to bring your own cups to the mess.
Yeah.
And I realized, it's such a small thing, you would not even understand, okay, the cups are there. But that, motivates people and provokes a thought that if I have this resource, why can I not use it
Yeah.
in other places?
Yeah.
So that's something, honestly.
No, very true. My grandfather used to say that without planning you will make many mistakes. With planning you will still make mistakes, but very less. So what about you?
I had like a great experience here, as coming from Chitkara only, we already do have a lot of sustainability measures in our campus as well. But when I reached here, I realized that you can really expand the scope of sustainability. Like it might just seem like very small. Let's talk about the square one.
Are you a critical thinker?
Yes, I am. More of a rational
On the
thinker.
positives, rational.
Yes, more of a rational thinker. Now, let's say when I went to the Square One Square One area, it might just look very normal to all. But if you do really look at the seating arrangements, let's say the placement of dustbins, usually dustbins are placed like at the very corner that you won't even realize where the dustbins are. I saw the management of the dustbins, how the waste is being collected, how it's been segregated. It might just look very small to everyone,
Yeah.
like it's nothing.
But it's exemplary.
But exactly, it's exemplary, it's
Yeah.
following the SDGs. So rather than the infrastructure, we really see that on a very small scale as well, sustainability is being followed here.
Yeah.
And that is something that really just inspired me, that we really do have such things in a school as well. But we never really thought that it could just have a more expansion of a scope
Yeah.
in that. So I just saw a change, not really a change, but like a wider scope of that.
No, I think very few would do that because as you see, we are going through a time when there is a lot of attention deficit. And here you have a great observer and are observers like you who watch and then, make an opinion, which is very important, thank you, because being optimistic, being an internal optimistic is very important. What about you?
First of all, the first thing
Coming
I
all the
noticed
way
is
from Jodhpur?
Yeah, first thing I noticed when I came here was the names of the buildings. Really
Oh.
interesting. Really interesting.
Interesting.
Martin Luther building, there's the Picasso.
Yeah.
And I saw the hostel names too. I'm in Pi C.
Yeah.
It sounds so interesting, and everything is built in such a eye-catching way. I saw all the infrastructure and how the buildings are made. It's all so eye-catching for me.
Yeah.
I love noticing small things, so I noticed all that they mentioned.
So you link it with your goal 11
Yeah.
of SDG, right?
Yeah. I was about to mention the sustainability thing because everywhere I go, I always have, usually every time I'm going somewhere, I have a lot of trash in my pocket because I never want to walk to a dustbin.
Yeah,
put
and
it
you want to
there.
litter around.
Yeah, but as soon as I entered the campus, everywhere I look, there are 3 dustbins, segregated trash. Everywhere. I saw the plastic bottle thing that you have done. It's a metal plastic bottle. which
Right,
has a
and
bunch of
people
flash.
are
Yeah.
putting stuff.
I love the initiatives that Chitkara is.
It's very interesting. We could we could go on and on, but it's so awesome chatting and catching up with you. Though this was very unplanned,
Yeah.
but I believe that impromptu things come out
Yes.
very much better. And in a very short span of time, we're able to connect and I think talk about and build some content which is meaningful. Life is very precarious. It's like a walk on the cliff. So you got to be smart, agile, alert, and I would I would just comment that whatever you do, you got a great career ahead. Whatever you do it with awareness. What exactly you want to focus on, but if you're aware, and I believe you're already there, you got a great path to go. Let's see how we can all contribute in the ocean of this beautiful world and make a human race so equal, as Deepal said, and see that everybody enjoys that sense of freedom and embraces this one opportunity called life.